Hey, this is Tom at Talon Guitar Works in Southwest Florida. And today I'd like to talk about a few myths that are going around about Gibson Les Pauls. I've got a 1980 Gibson Les Paul Custom on the bench right now, and it weighs in at 10 pounds, 12 ounces. That's right. And it's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's got great sound. It's got great sustain. The first myth I want to cover is, if I saw this on YouTube, if a guitar is heavy, it sounds good unplugged, but when you plug it in, it loses tone. I don't know if your amp's broken, maybe? I don't know. I've never seen that. Usually, a guitar that sounds good when it's not plugged in sounds even better plugged in. The second myth we're going to get to is the weight. We've had the guitar industry tell us, lighter, lighter, lighter. You need a lighter guitar because you possibly couldn't hold this on your body for 3 hours or 4 hours a night. It would just wreck you. Well, first, the average weight of the Les Paul from the 50s through the 70s was 9 to 12 pounds. People used to go into guitar shops, lift up all the Les Pauls, and pick the heaviest one to play. It was the sought-after guitar. The industry decided they could steer us away from this, and a lot of the manufacturers are doing it with replacing the original woods with much lighter woods. What Gibson did was they discontinued the Les Paul for a few years. Now keep in mind, the original Les Paul, if you ever see that chunk of wood that Les brought in and showed them, that thing's massive. It's huge. Now they pared it down to what you see here. And they've been lightening it up ever since with chambering and weight reliefs and all that stuff. Not really necessary, not getting the guitar you want. Now, the guys who made the Les Paul famous, the Steve Marriotts, the Peter Framptons, the Eric Claptons, the Jimmy Pages, those were not these super strong bodybuilder guys. I want to say Steve Marriott and Peter Frampton together probably weighed about 240 pounds. They were small guys, and they played them all night long. Now, to put this in a better perspective, the average elementary school child's backpack weighs between 10 and 20 pounds, and the average woman's purse, 6.78 pounds, which is about the weight of most of the industry guitars now, around 6 to 7.5 pounds. So don't let that fool you. Don't let it shy you away, and don't let it make you weak and say, I couldn't possibly hold that on my body for 3 sets a night. You absolutely could. Now, when Gibson got rid of the Les Paul for 3 years, they went to the SG. They did away with the heavy maple cap. They thinned the body out thinner than a Strata or a Tele. And they did away with the paint schemes. The gold top and the burst went away, and they had black, white, and barn red. I don't know, cheap paint. They were trying to cheapen up the amount of money they were spending on those guitars. They also tried to cheapen up the necks and reduce what it would cost. And you'll see scarf joints come into play later on, because it takes about a 12-quarter piece of wood to carve a 17-degree neck for a guitar. Paul Reed Smith now, I think, is using 12-quarter or 10-quarter for his necks, and he's got a 7 or 8-degree headstock angle. So by lightening up the guitars, manufacturers have also been able to supplant the tone wood with basswood's just fine. And I've even seen plywood bodies that have really nice paint jobs on them. They don't have the tone, they don't have the sustain that the classic tone woods do. And that's why the best-selling guitars right now, other than the junkers, are at the other end of the spectrum. The Paul Reed Smiths, the Les Pauls, and the custom shops. From what I heard now, you can only get ash bodies from the custom shop because of the ash borer that's taken over the United States. and is killing a lot of our trees. Now, the third myth that I've heard on YouTube, and this is scary because I had 3 guitars come in, is the best way to set up your Les Paul is to tighten the truss rod knot until the neck is straight and then string it. Well, first, if you're not using a luthier tool to determine if the neck is straight, you got no idea. If you over tighten it, you could put a back bow in the neck, which the Yamaha Studio Lord and 2 Les Pauls came in with back bows. The truss rods were over tightened. It's a one-way truss rod, so when you loosen it, you have to put weight on it to get relief back into it. Almost every guitar in the market needs some type of relief in the neck to be playable, or you're going to get buzzes. Now, you can also adjust your bridge height to get a different action and make the guitar more playable along with that. But you don't have to straighten these necks out. And you could be doing more damage than good. I know a lot of guys that say, I can't fix a back-bowed neck. I can fix it, it takes time. But the Yamaha Studio Lord I had in, I actually had to take the truss rod out. I had to heat and press the neck back, and I had to put a dual action truss rod in it, retrofit it, so the guitar could become playable again. So before you just chomp on these myths that you don't need a heavy guitar, and you need the thinnest neck possible, and tone wood doesn't matter, and if it's heavy it doesn't sound right, go out and play some of these guitars. Stop buying guitars over the internet immediately. I mean, there was a time when nobody would buy a guitar they hadn't played. Now it's very faddish. So anyway, this is Tom at Talon Guitar Works. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like and subscribe, and we'll be back at you with more videos on Fenders and on different guitars that are out there and what we're doing in the shop. Take care.